Hello and welcome back to another edition of Saint Spotlights. Today, we welcome Dr. Armando Retana. Armando immigrated from Costa Rica and graduated in 2006 in biology. While he was here at Thomas More, he was a James Graham Brown Scholar, a member of ADG, played on the soccer team, was president of the International Student Group, and participated in Dr. James Camp's Border Studies class and service learning trip. Today, he's a surgeon in Washington, D.C. for both cosmetic and dental needs. Thank you so much for joining us, Armando. Would you mind, in your own words, sharing what brought you to Thomas More as a student?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thomas More. Thomas More is a long story how I ended up here. I'll give you the short version of it. I came to the United States from Costa Rica about age 15 or so. Did my high school years in Maryland, and I also went to a Maryland liberal arts school called St. Mary's College of Maryland for one semester. Long story short, because of my immigration status at the time, in that school being a state-funded institution, I had to leave that school. And through a connection with my uncle and someone who had been here in Thomas More, an alumni of Thomas More, John Powers, he sort of helped make the connection of me coming here to a private Catholic institution that didn't care about my immigration status. That's how I ended up here. And so I came here on my second semester freshman year, and I finished all 3.5 years at this school.
Right on. That's what a story to get to put on, and we're so grateful that you've been put on to here with us. What stands out in your mind about your student experience?
What stands out? So many things. I was involved in so many things here at Thomas More. I was a biology major. I also played soccer. I was involved with the International Student Group, also with ADG. Like, all those things stand out. Like, being a fraternity brother, I didn't even know what a fraternity was at the time. I remember kind of learning the concept, and my cousin was here already, and he was part of the fraternity, and so he introduced me to it. So a lot of the great memories I have about Thomas More are my ADG memories, along with soccer games and, like the camaraderie of being in the soccer team and being a team player and that kind of thing. What stands out the most, actually, is the mentorship that I got here at Thomas More with Dr. Lorenz and Dr. Barone. Mainly those two. They took me like I was one of their kids, and they went above and beyond to help me achieve what I wanted to achieve here at Thomas More, and also beyond here, setting me up with amazing recommendation letters and amazing opportunities, like research projects that I did with Dr. Barone in immunology, trips that I did with Dr. Lorenz to Chicago for research symposiums and things like that. Like, all those memories, just right now, just thinking about it gives me goosebumps. As to how much I did here and how many people impacted me, as well as Dr. Camp's Border Study Club. Same, I got the opportunity to go down to the border with Mexico and spend a whole week down there, looking at the whole immigration situation. And me being an immigrant, it really hit home for me, like those families, what they're going through, what the church was doing for them, and everything else. It really touched my heart to be down there for that week, and hopefully I'll get to experience that again with my family. I really want to take my wife and my kids down there, and it just gives you a different perspective in life when you go down there and you see what the situation is like for those families. And it kind of, being an immigrant person, an immigrant family, and I knew I never went through what they went through, right? Like, I was able to get here in a different way than they did, or they do every single day that they cross the border. So very impactful. All these activities I did here at Thomas More really shaped me as a young man and stimulated my mind in ways that I can't even describe.
Can you tell us a little bit about that experience specifically of when you went back to the border with Professor Camp back then?
Again, the experience was amazing. I just remember, going down there to El Paso, Texas first, and then crossing over into Ciudad Juarez, and just seeing the difference, right? Like, when you're on the U.S. side, there is a norm, and then when you go to the Mexico side, there's a new norm. And the new norm in Mexico is kind of ugly. It's kind of tough to sort of take it all in. The main thing that I experienced there was just just there to, we would help feed the immigrants that were at the church, and also talk to them, just kind of get their story. And I would ask them, like, hey, how long have you been traveling? How many times have you had tried to cross the border and all those things? And just kind of getting their story and kind of like, I don't know, just being a good listener. Just being a good listener for those people who just needed someone to listen to and someone to understand, like, where they are in their life and what they're trying to do and why they're trying to do it. And, none of these people are criminals. None of these people are bad people. They're just people that maybe they're being persecuted in their own countries, just like other cultures are being persecuted for religious reasons or whatever. They might be just persecuted because, like, I heard the story of one lady that she was there. It was grandma and her granddaughter, and they told me that the gang members came to their house and told them that their 14-year-old daughter, they physically liked the 14-year-old daughter, and they were gonna come back later on that night to take away the daughter so she can be the girlfriend of the gang member, and like they had to leave their town because of that. It's either my granddaughter gets raped for the rest of her life, or if we stay here, or we can leave and ask for asylum in another country so that my granddaughter can have a normal life, right? That really touched me. Like, that kind of story is like, yeah, like, how do you, and then the cops are not going to do anything, and no one's going to do anything because it's so corrupt down there. And it's like, those kind of stories just hit home for me. I mean, luckily, I never grew up in a situation like that. But if someone came to my house and said something like that about my 13-year-old daughter, I mean, it's either they have to kill me or if it's not violence, you just have to leave town and go find life somewhere else, So very touching stories. Well, that's the main one that I remember.
Would you mind sharing a short history behind your career paths and the important turning points?
Yeah, my career paths. I mean, the main one is the one that I just shared with you guys, that I was kicked out of college because of my immigration status, and that's how I ended up at Thomas More. That was a huge turning point for me. If I never got kicked out of that college and I never came to Thomas More, I may not be a doctor today. I may not be a surgeon today. I may be something else. So that was definitely a point in my life that was a big turning point. Another big turning point was actually getting my green card. So while I was here at Thomas More, when I was a junior, thinking about applications for dental school or medical school, and thinking, how am I going to pay for dental school? My dad can't afford it. I can't afford it. Like, how am I going to do it? Once I got my green card, that's where my answer was. My answer was, hey, you can take out student loans from the U.S. government. They're willing to give you student loans to become a doctor because they know you're going to pay them back. So that's what I did. I took out loans. Initially, I think it was $200,000, and then I went to dental school with that, and then I took another $200,000 to go to medical school. So I graduated with like $400,000 in student debt. But like I was telling the students earlier today, that it's okay. Like, it's low interest loans that you can pay back over time. That's what we consider good debt, right? You're invested on yourself. You're the only one that can mess it up, and you're the best investment you can make, in my opinion. Instead of investing in buying like a really nice Ferrari or a nice car or something like that, you can wreck that thing in 2 seconds, and there you go, you have nothing now. So that was a big turning point for me, being able to borrow money from the U.S. government to be able to put myself through school and become a doctor.
Now, what current projects and interests have you been working on?
My projects right now is, just working on, my entire career. I worked to improve myself, improve my skill set so I can provide for my family. So now I'm working on my family. I'm working on, I got married about 4 years ago. My wife and I have been together for now almost 10 years. We've been raising the kids together, and just working on being present for my kids and my family, mentoring them, being a parent, being present. A lot of times, I feel like we can get so caught up into like our career goals and our individual goals, and we're not focusing on our family. We're not paying attention to the kids. We're not paying attention to what are they doing? Are they doing well in school? Are they into drugs? Are they not into drugs? Are they into, what's going on with their relationship status? Are they dating, not dating? Like, being involved with them. And that's something I try hard to, like, make sure I make it home on time, to talk to the kids and be part of them, especially with electronics these days. These kids can be in their electronics, FaceTiming with their friends all day long. Next thing you know, you don't have a relationship with your daughter. You don't have a relationship with your son. And they look at you like you're a strange person in the house, right? So I'm working. That's my biggest project right now, is being present for my wife and my kids. And that's something I don't take for granted. That's something that, I got my career goals and I'm still working on them. And that's mainly, like, my career goals right now is to continue to improve my business, to continue to improve my business model, to make it a better business, a more profitable business, but also a more smooth business in terms of like human resources and things like that, but also just to be a good father and a good husband.
How have you been able to stay in contact with any of your former classmates or professors from your time here?
Yeah, mainly, I have a set of friends, who graduated from my generation that we still keep in contact. One of them is Boris. He became an orthopedic surgeon. He's out in California. We keep in touch. Another one was my roommate in college, Brian. He was a theater major, and he is in Barcelona. I went to his wedding about 3 years ago. Amazing guy. He just had a son, and very proud of him. I hope you guys maybe bring him back here. He's an interesting guy. Professors, absolutely. Dr. Barone, who retired not too long ago. I keep in touch with her. She's actually in my area. We haven't been able to go out to dinner, but we'll probably make it happen this fall or spring. And then Dr. Lorenz, same. I've been able to sort of keep in touch with him. I just reconnected with him again, but so here and there we've been able to keep in touch. So yeah, I do. Thomas More and my professors, who I consider my mentors, have been amazing, and I love that they're still around, that I can still talk to them, and that they can see that, what they helped me achieve, like that they'll be able to see that. Because I think, I bet as educators and mentors, they, it's another sort of, they get a different feeling from seeing one of their students succeed and be fruitful, I guess. Yeah.
Now, is there anything else you would like to discuss or have any advice for upcoming students?
Upcoming students, I would say, don't be afraid to take risks. Don't be afraid to, don't be afraid to take risks. A lot of times, we like to live in our comfort. We like to live in the comfort zone, and we don't like to be in an uncomfortable zone. But sometimes you just have to take a little bit of risk, whether it's financial risk or whatever it may be. Just don't be afraid of it. Be positive. Never think you're going to fail. Always think you're going to make it. Speak it into existence. Work hard. Nothing ever comes to you just by osmosis or just because, right? You have to make it happen. And same, like, your college experience could be, you can just let it happen, or you can make it happen. You can, like, make your college experience what you want it to be. Take advantage of it. You're only here for a limited amount of time, and then next thing you know, you're in the real world. So enjoy it. Do as much as you can, and follow your heart.
Well spoken. Well, thank you so much for taking your time out of your day to sit down with us, Dr. Retana. It's been a great talk with you, and thank you all so much for back home for watching another edition of Saint Spotlights. Be sure to tune in for the next one, and we'll see you around. Have a good one.